It started with an email asking if I wanted to take part in something new, something exclusive. It promised to be unlike anything else available online and dared me to RSVP immediately to secure my spot. My curiosity piqued. I clicked on the link provided in the message, which took me to a website advertising a live show where users could interact directly with a notorious serial killer known only as the Butcher. As I read further, I learned that the Butcher had become infamous for his grisly methods of dispatching victims, leaving behind scenes straight out of a horror movie. But here was the catch. During each episode of the live stream, he would allow viewers to dictate his next move through real-time polls and chats. This interactive element ensured no two shows were ever the same, according to the site's marketing copy. And it all happened at midnight, hence its title, The Midnight Shift. Of course, I shouldn't have been surprised by such content given the current state of the internet. But there was still something unsettling about being asked to essentially play puppet master for a murderer. I couldn't shake the feeling that participating would cross a line beyond simple voyeurism into complicity. So why did I keep reading? Why did I sign up for notifications when new episodes went live? After receiving 3 messages apologizing for any delays, my phone finally buzzed with an alert. You have received your special invite to tonight's broadcast. Get ready for a truly unique digital experience only possible during the midnight shift. And just like that, I found myself sitting in front of my computer screen minutes before the scheduled start time, nervously tapping my fingers against the arm of my chair. I wondered if others felt the same trepidation or excitement, or perhaps both. Maybe we craved whatever rush came from rubbernecking danger without repercussions. Perhaps this was a glimpse into the true nature of humankind, revealing a sinister underbelly we rarely exposed but secretly yearned away from them, and the only option they offer is the ability to vote on potential demises for their captives. As long as people continue to watch, they know they hold the attention of those eager for bloodshed. What happens when someone like me enters their den? Am I simply another victim ripe for manipulation, or can I turn the tables? I pressed enter after finishing typing, hoping my words carried enough conviction to sway whoever controlled this place. A moment later, an answer popped up. Butcher. Mode. Welcome, viewer. You seem keen on learning more about the nature of humanity. Let me indulge you then. My heart raced at their response, especially the usage of viewer. They must have access to the server hosting the streams, meaning they were likely involved in creating these hellish games. Did they also orchestrate the abductions that fed into the snuff films? Would I need to fight back now rather than risk capture? Butcher. Mode. We believe humans thrive on conflict and chaos, allowing us predators to feast on their fear and weaknesses. This connection empowers us to shape reality however we wish. All you need is the courage to seize opportunities when presented and act accordingly. Remember, the choices you make tonight will reflect the darkness lurking within yourself and ultimately determine whether you walk among the living tomorrow. In those few sentences, my assumptions turned out to be correct. These monsters kidnapped unsuspecting souls solely for the purpose of playing these sickening games. If I didn't do something, I might never escape. The midnight shift represented a perverse reflection of our world's basest urges, one driven by a hunger for pain and suffering. That couldn't stand. Closing my eyes and taking deep breaths, I reminded myself of my goals once again. Find Lauren, disable the cameras, end this charade, and put these maniacs behind bars. Anything else was secondary. I opened my eyes, determined to strike before they grew suspicious or prepared further traps. User 30, 8951. Excuse me, folks. Mind if I borrow? After carefully evaluating my surroundings, I deduced that while I appeared inside an office building based on the furniture and decor, I actually occupied a virtual environment created specifically for the midnight shift. How much farther until reaching the servers? As I walked around the room, seeking clues or hidden passages, the soundscape evolved in sync with my movement. Creaks echoed whenever I stepped onto thin carpet or plastic floor mats. Dr. Hinges groaned as they swung open into empty rooms filled with static. I even stumbled upon an old dot matrix printer complete with cables connected to nothingness. Each step forward confirmed how thoroughly entrenched I remained in fabricated machinery. Suddenly my headphones blared a deafening screech that forced me to cover my ears. Agony shot down my arms and legs, causing me to cry out. Before collapsing face first onto the hard floor, I witnessed every monitor display a mocking smiley face. A mocking smiley face, emoji followed by static white noise. Panic set in as thoughts of suffocation beneath wires flashed through my mind. When consciousness returned, my body felt immobile, save for my nose twitching due to lingering muskiness in the air. Looking up revealed my arms to be bound with thick wire straps connected to the walls at odd angles. Barely moving my eyelids caused them to feel heavy and sticky, suggesting some form of sedative or paralyzing agent was administered. To say despair enveloped me in that moment would undersell the helplessness coursing throughout my entire being. My attempts to wriggle free proved futile. Even blinking seemed arduous, requiring increased exertion with each attempt. Time became hazy, as though hours passed between moments of clarity. Lacking stimuli or interaction made measuring duration impossible. Eventually, a change occurred. Imagining eternities spent thus far incapacitated allowed resignation to settle in and calm to surface. With acceptance came a renewed sense of determination and focus. Albeit limited, the glow illuminated the wires binding my limbs, casting eerie shadows across the wall. Mounted devices and the metal boxes stacked haphazardly alongside them. How amusing! A voice boomed over the speakers, sending a wave of nausea rippling through me. Our guest has finally regained consciousness. The light above began to spin slowly, revealing the faces of 3 individuals dressed in black, featureless suits that obscured any identifying marks. I tried desperately to move, but even twitching my fingers remained beyond my capabilities. Their masks, combined with the dim lighting, suggested they desired anonymity. One of them crouched next to my left ear, his distorted voice barely audible amidst the static buzz coming from all directions. "You should thank us, prisoner. We didn't have to revive you quite yet. It wouldn't surprise us if your friends already lost interest without fresh content. A chill ran down my spine, despite feeling numb. Were they referring to Lauren? Who else could they mean? And let's not forget, shall we? You managed to break through some layers of security. Now it's time to see what else you possess in terms of skills. Without warning, a sharp shock jolted my entire body, causing my vision to go temporarily white. Painful tremors radiated outward from various points along my nervous system, leaving a burning sensation wherever they touched. Upon regaining sight, I noticed my wrist had been removed from its bindings, leaving just 2 remaining. Frantic thrashing yielded no results. More restraints prevented full movement. Confusion gave way to realization as my right hand hovered mere inches above the device responsible for my imprisonment. Another surge disrupted my attempts to manipulate whatever held me down. Numbness persisted, contrasted only by periodic bursts of intense agony that racked my body, making it difficult to concentrate on anything other than surviving this twisted gauntlet. One thing was certain: escape depended. A new sound entered the space, one which permeated everything. A quiet humming that gradually grew louder. As it intensified, the room began to vibrate ever so slightly, creating a subtle rattling effect within the confined area where I lay captive. Then something unexpected happened. The static droning that served as background noise suddenly vanished entirely, replaced instead by a deep, unnerving silence. No sound accompanied my attempts to speak, even as breath escaped my mouth in slow puffs that dissipated without a trace. My brain struggled to comprehend these abnormal events unfolding before me. Was this another test designed to push past my limits, or a calculated ploy meant to wear away at my sanity? Every passing moment brought new questions that went unanswered, and the lack of input added an extra layer of torment to an already trying situation. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, the soundless void gave rise to piercing whistles and squeals that penetrated my skull, assaulting my hearing and bringing tears to my eyes. Despite the pain inflicted, the cacophonous barrage continued unabated, amplifying until there existed nothing besides sonic violence, bombarding my sensibility. Somehow, through sheer force of will, I retained enough lucidity to discern a faint red light pulsing intermittently from within the speaker array. At first glance, it seemed insignificant against the searing brightness earlier utilized, almost incidental in nature. But then the pattern changed, revealing itself to be some kind of encoded message written using Morse code. Tracing the intricate rhythm with great difficulty, I pieced together an ominous statement delivered directly towards myself. We know you are awake now, user. This is merely the beginning of our journey together. Your cooperation ensures your eventual return to the world outside, but defiance leads to consequences few can imagine. Cognizance wavered once more as the oppressive audio assault lessened, transitioning back to omnipresent silence accentuation. For just $3 a month, you can have your name featured in my YouTube videos and descriptions. Not only will you be supporting my channel, but you'll also be immortalized in the credits of my content. If you're looking for something a bit more personalized, consider becoming a $25 a month patron. I'll voice your stories and bring them to life on my channel. Create a special drawing just for you, or even write a unique story tailored to your interests. So don't hesitate. Join my patron community today and help me keep the spooky stories coming. And remember, together we can save each other from the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for your support.